You look at a photo from 5 years ago and something feels strange. Not because you changed, because you aged too fast. The tired eyes, the drained skin, the permanent tension in your face. And the weirdest part? You're in your 20s, maybe even younger. Some people say Gen Z just looks older. But deep down, you already know this isn't really about appearance. It's about exhaustion that never got a chance to rest. A generation that learned how to survive emotionally before it learned how to live. And the scary part? Most people don't even realize it's happening to them until one random moment when they catch their reflection and think, when did I start looking this tired? There's this silent moment a lot of people experience now. You're lying in bed at 2 a.m., phone inches from your face, mind racing. You switch between 5 apps in 10 minutes. You laugh at one video, feel insecure after the next, read bad news, see someone your age buying a house, someone getting married, someone becoming famous, someone becoming beautiful, and suddenly your chest feels heavy for no reason. But you keep scrolling. Because stopping means feeling everything at once. That's the part nobody talks about. Gen Z didn't just grow up online, they grew up emotionally exposed. Every insecurity, every comparison, every crisis, every opinion, all at the same time. Previous generations had pressure too, but pressure used to end when you came home. Now it follows you into your bed, your bathroom, your lunch break, your silence. There's no emotional off switch anymore. And your body keeps score of that, not overnight, quietly. The body was never designed to stay alert all day. But now, your nervous system barely gets a break. Even resting doesn't feel restful anymore. You're watching something while checking something while thinking about something else. Your brain stays tense, your jaw stays tight, your shoulders stay lifted. And over time, your face starts carrying the emotions you never released. That's why so many young people look emotionally older. Not because they're weak, because they've been emotionally processing too much for too long. Pause for a second and think about this. How often do you truly feel relaxed? Not distracted, not entertained, not numb, actually relaxed. For a lot of people, the answer is terrifying, because constant stimulation became normal, and when your body lives in survival mode long enough, it starts aging like it's under threat. Sleep gets worse, skin changes, energy drops, eyes lose softness. But it's deeper than biology. There's also emotional aging. Some Gen Z kids became emotionally adults too early. They learned about trauma before love, burnout before stability, anxiety before identity. A lot of them grew up during economic fear, pandemics, isolation, family stress, internet addiction, social pressure. And somehow they were still expected to smile through it and enjoy their youth. That contradiction does something to a person. Because how do you feel young when your brain has been carrying adult stress since childhood? There's a reason so many young people feel emotionally 40 at 22. They're tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. And sometimes it shows on their face before they even realize it, emotionally. You can even hear it in conversations now. People joke about burnout like it's a personality trait. I haven't slept. I'm running on caffeine. I'm emotionally detached. I'm losing my mind. Everyone laughs, but underneath the humor is something darker. A generation trying to normalize exhaustion because they don't know what healthy feels like anymore. And here's the strange twist. A lot of Gen Z doesn't actually want to look older. They just want to feel taken seriously. Think about that. Many young people learned early that vulnerability gets ignored, so they hardened themselves. More mature, more detached, more emotionally guarded, and eventually the body reflects the role you keep playing. Because humans are adaptive. If the world rewards you for suppressing emotion, your face slowly learns not to show it. That's why some people look emotionally distant even when they're deeply sensitive. They spent years teaching themselves not to break publicly. But suppression has a cost. You can hide stress from people, not from your nervous system. And maybe that's the real conversation nobody's ready for. This isn't about skincare or fashion or genetics. It's about living in an era where your mind never fully feels safe. There's always something to worry about. Money, the future, relationships, appearance, relevance, being left behind. Even rest feels guilty now, like you should be improving yourself instead. And when a human being lives like that long enough, their face stops looking young in the traditional sense, not because youth disappeared, because peace did. Here's something else that's heartbreaking. A lot of people in Gen Z became hyper self-aware too early. They analyze themselves constantly. How do I look? How do I sound? What do people think of me? Am I falling behind? Imagine being observed all the time during the exact years you were supposed to discover who you are. That pressure changes people. When you're always performing, you stop inhabiting yourself naturally. And sometimes the exhaustion of self-monitoring becomes visible, especially in the eyes. The eyes tell the truth first. That's why some young people look deeply tired even when they're smiling. Because emotional fatigue leaks through the cracks eventually. Pause for a moment. Think about the last time you looked at yourself without criticizing something. A long pause usually follows that question, because for many people self-perception became survival, and survival is exhausting. But here's the part that almost nobody says out loud. Some Gen Z people don't just look older because of stress. They look older because they had to become emotionally intelligent too fast. They had to read rooms early, understand moods early, manage chaos early. A lot of sensitive kids became emotional caretakers before they even understood their own feelings. That creates a certain look. A quiet heaviness, the kind that makes someone seem older than they are even when they barely speak. You've probably met people like that, young, funny, kind, but their eyes look like they've seen too much already. And maybe you're one of them. Maybe you became mature because life forced you to, not because you wanted to. And honestly, that changes the way a person carries themselves forever. But there's something important hidden inside all of this. Looking older is not always a sign of losing youth. Sometimes it's evidence of surviving things silently. And no, that doesn't mean suffering should become your identity, because there's a difference between being shaped by pain and believing pain is all you are. A lot of people are stuck there right now. They think exhaustion is permanent. That heaviness is just adulthood. That emotional numbness is normal. It's not. Human beings were not designed to constantly consume fear, comparison, noise, and pressure every waking hour. Your body reacts because it's trying to protect you, not punish you. And maybe healing starts when you stop asking, "How do I look younger?" and start asking, "Why have I felt emotionally unsafe for so long?" That question changes everything. Because sometimes the real glow-up isn't appearance. It's finally unclenching your nervous system, sleeping without panic, laughing without guilt, existing without performing. That softness people miss. It often returns when survival mode ends. And maybe that's what this generation truly needs. Not more filters, not more productivity hacks, not another trend teaching people how to optimize themselves into emotional machines. Maybe they just need permission to be human again, to rest without earning it, to disappear from the internet sometimes, to stop turning every insecurity into content, because underneath all the exhaustion, there's still a person in there, a person who was never supposed to carry this much this early. And maybe the moment you realize that, you stop hating your reflection so much, not because you suddenly look younger, but because you finally understand what your face has been trying to say all along.